for unit multipliers is lovingly referred to as multiple unit multipliers. And when you say the word multiple, that means what, Jack?
More than one.
More than one. For example, here is the deal with this. And specifically, they are talking about this, and I want you to write this down. When you are talking about area, you must use double unit multipliers, and I'll tell you why in a second. Double unit multipliers. And when you talk about volume, come on, thing. Uh-oh. Somewhere something happened. Remember this last year? We had this all the time where it freeze and you would clap. Somebody clapped. Don't do that. You can stop now because it just makes the camera all movie. Volume, when you do volume, you must use triple unit multipliers. And again, I'll explain that in just a second. Okay, and here is our example problem. Let's say that you have, 300 feet squared, and you're supposed to change that into inches squared. Okay. We've talked about this before. Unit multipliers is all about getting labels to cross off. The numbers kind of just follow in what they are. Okay? And what is 300 feet squared really mean? Okay? What does 300 feet squared really mean, Sage? It is not 900. You are not squaring the 300, you are squaring the label. When you write this out using unit multipliers, you have to do this. 300 feet squared is 300 feet times feet. And the reason for that is this. When you find area of a rectangle, and if this is 15 feet by 20 feet, you multiply the numbers together, that's where you get the 300, but you also have two labels that get doubled up. It's 300 feet times feet. Because there's 2 feet, 2 labels that get multiplied when you do area. So when you write this out unit multiplier-wise, this means the labels are squared, not the number. It's not 300 squared feet, it's 300 feet squared. Okay? So when you do this as unit multipliers, in order to get both labels to cross off, you have to use 2 identical unit multipliers. That's why area, anytime it's square units, you have to use double unit multipliers. And then we're changing it into inches. So I put my inches on top, and I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. My label feet cross off. And my answer, by the way, children, I will let you, at this point, stop actually doing the physical multiplication of that. You can just write your answer as this, 300, put it in parentheses, times 12, all over 1. And your answer is in inches squared because you have 2 labels left over. Now, if you can reduce it, please reduce it. If there was a 12 on the bottom, you could cross out something out and do that. But this would be your answer. Again, let me throw this at you. Just like 1 square foot is how many square inches? Everybody wants to say 12, but that is not true. 1 square foot, 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot is, there are 12 inches on each side of this square. It's 144 square inches. And that's what you'd get if you doubled your unit multipliers like you should if you were doing that like this. Okay? And that's the same reason why volume, take a look at this. Here's my volume. Let's say I have 3 feet cubed for my volume, and I want to change that into inches cubed. The reason why volume has to have 3 unit multipliers is because the label is multiplied by itself 3 times. So when you write this one out, it's 3 feet times feet times feet, because volume is a 3-dimensional measurement, length times width times height. And then when you use your unit multipliers with that, you have to use 3 identical unit multipliers. Feet, feet, feet. Inches, inches, inches. There are 12 inches in the foot, 12 inches in the foot, 12 inches in the foot. All of these feet will cross off 1 for 1. And your answer will be 3 times 12 times 12 times 12 inches cubed. Volume, automatically, when you see volume, you should think 3. You should think 3 times the size. Nick?
Did you say 3 times 12 cubed?
Yeah, we can do that fine. You're going to be the one grading it, so you'd have to recognize that. So here, let me give you one. 1 million millimeters cubed, and I want to turn that into centimeters cubed. 1 million millimeters cubed turned into centimeters cubed. That will allow you the great opportunity of doing this yourself. I will let you know how many millimeters are in a centimeter. 10. If you look at your little ruler, 1 centimeter. There are 10 millimeters for every 1 centimeter. I'll give you a chance to do that before a thorough tongue lashing occurs. Got it, Rockwell? Wow, that was fast. Very, very, very fast. What's that? So, you wrote the labels down. Where are the labels? Rockwell, I think you missed the entire point. Did I fail to mention that cubic things would be times 3? Cubic identical unit multipliers should be identical unit multipliers. I thought I emphasized that. Sometimes I'm wrong. Oh boy.
I'm getting close.
Alright, Nathaniel, you're really gonna have to. Do you see what I did up here?
Yeah.
How come there's none of that on this? People like do the examples on the board. See, part of the learning the mathematical experience is taking the example we just did and really substituting in just the new things. Like in this place would be the 100 millimeter times millimeter times millimeter, and here would be millimeter, millimeter, centimeter, centimeter. On your paper, I should just see one big long division problem with nothing else there, because there's been no point for me to show you the example there. Right. Emma Christ, are you there? What'd you come up with?
A million over 1,000.
Right, and that one, in that case there, I would suspect you could cross off the zeros for me and actually get that down to what is 1 million divided by 1,000? 1,000. And this is what it would look like. This is what you should have on your paper. It's simply this. You have your 1 million, and it is millimeter times millimeter times millimeter. That's what millimeter cubed means. And that's all over 1. And you need a unit multiplier to cross off with each of these millimeter labels. What is doing this? I don't know. And on top is centimeters, centimeters, centimeters. There's 10 millimeters for every centimeter. So So that makes all the millimeters labels cross off. You're left with centimeters cubed, which is what you want on top, that's what I asked you for. You have 1 million on top over 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. And like I said, if it's an easy mathematical thing here where you can just go, oh, cross off 0, cross off 0, cross off 0, your answer is 1,000 centimeters cubed. But this is the important thing, that you see that. Because it's not always going to be things that you know are exactly easy or whatever. Nikki Cow.
Would it be okay if I just